Hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here in the Fox 19 First Alert Streaming Center for our Saturday morning edition of our 19 at 10:15 a.m. weather show. Available wherever you stream, including on Fox19.com, the Fox 19 News and First Alert Weather app, the 24/7 weather streaming channel, Roku, Hulu, YouTube, and of course on Facebook. Where Facebook, if you have any questions or comments, you can chime in the comments, and I'll be checking those periodically throughout this video. But I will say the forecast the next couple of days does appear to be wet and a little challenging as well. We'll dive into all of that coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So again, hi everyone, Meteorologist Emery here. You got 2 more weekends with me. Today, tomorrow, and then you got next weekend. May 11th is my final day here at Fox 19. And it's been an honor being a First Alert Forecast member, meteorologist member here with Fox 19. But I do want to say that this forecast, again, there's some challenges to it, but I'll explain here in a moment. One thing I want to do, because it was something I started back when I used to do weekend evenings on the 19 at 6 show, is your forecast first. I want to give you that opportunity to see that First Alert forecast for tonight, or I should say today, tonight, tomorrow. We'll do all 3 of those, and the 7-day forecast. So bear with me for just a moment. I haven't been here almost 2 weeks, and things got moved around. So I'm just trying to play catch up here really quick. And while I'm doing that, again, thank you for those of you joining us. Today looks more wet than dry. Today we are looking at periods of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, can't be ruled out, just kind of given the nature of this setup. And I cannot seem to find some of the graphics. Oh, here we go. Again, it's been almost 2 weeks, and there we go. Okay, we found it. Eureka. Okay, here's that forecast first. We're going to do today, tonight, tomorrow, and your 7-day. So here we are. Today looks wet. We got periods of showers. Temperatures are not going to warm up too much. We are actually looking at highs at around 60 degrees. That's it. Then we go to tonight. Tonight we are looking at low temperatures near 50 degrees. And then for Sunday, a couple of degrees cooler, 59 degrees, scattered showers throughout the day. Now, the 7-day forecast, there is some hope if you want drier, warmer conditions. We just got to deal with the next couple of days. We got a high of 58 for your Monday, scattered showers. Tuesday, a few isolated showers, but it does look a bit warmer, so there's some promise there. Then Wednesday looks to be dry for the majority of the day. The evening does pose the risk of maybe an isolated shower, high of 72. Then Thursday, a few isolated showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, high of 71. And then Friday looks nice under a mix of sun and clouds. And we will dive into the 14-day forecast, which I will say does look excellent. And I'll elaborate on that coming up in a few minutes. But that is your forecast first. It's my promise to you to give you that First Alert forecast within the first few minutes of this stream. I will do this tomorrow and next weekend because I understand it. It's a weekend. I'm going to have weekends off soon. And weekends, you got a lot of things going on. You got a lot of plans, activities. But you want that First Alert forecast. I want to make sure you get that. That way, if you got to hop off of here and do your thing, there's no hard feelings. I understand. But we hope you can stick around, because we've got a lot of things to talk about, especially all this rain. And we'll begin with that, looking at our Newport Levee camera, which should still have some raindrops coming down on the camera lens, unless there's a little dry slot. Nope, it's still looking nice and wet. So here's that live look there. You can see even the camera shaking just a little bit because there's a little bit of a breeze out there. We're not talking about strong winds today. We're not even looking at severe weather this weekend. But we are looking at rain, and do note visibility is reduced there in the distance, and that is because of these downpours. Today is going to be one of those days where it's going to be very scattered with regards to these showers moving in. So some areas have a good downpour, and a lot of locations will be mainly light rain, and in some places will be dry. That's just kind of the nature of this thing. And again, it's a complex system. And right now, it is 56 degrees. That's the Newport Levee camera. Let's switch it now over to our Turfway Park view. Very similar. Again, wet conditions, a little bit of breezy conditions too. And I bet you this is one of those good downpours. Maybe even a rumble of thunder at this point. We'll take a look at radar in a moment. Then we'll look at our tower camera, which there's not much to see because the tower is up a couple hundred feet. It's got to go through those clouds and downpour, and it just has a hard time doing that. Because this is one of those situations where whenever it's raining, we're looking at the low cloud deck or the surface of the cloud. And yeah, just can't really see much. And I will say with the low cloud deck, that's going to actually be a factor as to why severe weather is not imminent. There's a lot of other reasons too, but that's just one thing to consider. And then also looking at our Mount Auburn camera. Okay, it's put into motion now. You can see a good little breeze there, some of those trees looking off towards Walnut Hills. And looks like we're having some issues with the connectivity. Our roof camera is down, but we're hoping to get that up before tomorrow morning because you can see 7th Street with the Flying Pig Marathon. It'd be great to see the race on our cameras. And then we also have got our Clovernut Country Club camera. And again, good downpour showing up right now over towards western portions of Hamilton County. And putting it all together, again, everyone is dealing with those showers on our different camera networks. We'll switch it over to radar real quick. We'll zoom in on a couple of spots that are dealing with these downpours. It's not just Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. It's a lot of locations here into the tri-state area. And as this loads, you're going to see, yes, a lot of dark green and yellow. So let's go ahead and do that here. I'll go ahead and zoom in on some of these spots. Let's begin with the areas we just saw on those cameras, the Cincinnati metro area. As we zoom in, you can see, again, a lot of dark green and yellow, indicative of some of those moderate downpours. Got a good moderate downpour, looks like near Anderson and Union Township towards Mount Carmel. And also got some good moderate downpours just south of Hebron, over towards the Florence area, Turfway, of course, as we had mentioned. And then also towards Independence, some moderate downpours there. And then even towards Alexandria, or I should say north of Alexandria, near the Highland Heights area. That's more accurate to say. That is another location dealing with some of those moderate downpours. Even a moderate downpour approaching the Addiston area here towards northern Kentucky near Taylorsport. Also got some moderate rain showing up near Idlewild, Lawrenceburg, Aurora even. Probably just dealing with some of the moderate rain, now beginning to see lighter rain. Some good moderate rain towards Cotton Township, Mount Sterling there in southeast Indiana at Switzerland County near Center Square. Etheridge, or if it's Etheridge, I apologize with the pronunciation of that. It's near Warsaw, close to Warsaw. Antioch, looking at the beginning of some moderate rain for you folks there. Got some moderate rain towards Holiday Ford, Downingsville, Williamstown there in Grant County. Corinth, looking at some moderate rain, even up towards Morgan, Falmouth there in Pendleton County, McKinney'sburg, Brooksville, Kentucky, some moderate rain just the north and west of you. And that's making its way towards Augusta, right along the Ohio River, Dover. And then we'll switch it now to the Wilmington radar, and there you can see a lot more rain over towards Mount Orab, Georgetown, Winchester, Peebles, Seaman, Elmville, Sugar Tree Ridge, over towards the Lynchburg area, Fayetteville. Got some moderate rain towards Martinsville, Harlan Township, Mount Rapeau, near the Goshen community. That's where meteorologist Aaron Ashley is from. And got some cousins who went to Goshen too. Milford got some rain. And now we're back to the Cincinnati Metro. We'll switch it over here real quick to see Butler County, which did have some good moderate downpours earlier. Now it's a little lighter over towards St. Clair Township, Liberty, and Hamilton. And radar's having a hard time picking this up, but there is some good rain showing up near the Brookville area, Young's Corner, Whitewater, and out towards Batesville. So we'll switch that back. Yeah, there you go. You can see some of that rain better, a little better at least, on the Wilmington radar. And then we'll put it into motion. And we'll take a pause real quick and look at those Facebook comments and questions, and then we'll dive right on into that first alert forecast and time this out for you for the Reds game, for the rest of the Flying Pig events, including that marathon coming up here in just a couple of moments. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Jane, Nikki, and Jackie. Thank you. It was a really hard decision for me to do this, but yeah. Jackie asking, will we see me on TV anywhere? No, I'm actually leaving the TV industry. I got a really nice job right now. I've been working both jobs, so I did have last weekend off. That was really nice, but I was working for about a month straight, every single day of the week. That could be a little exhausting, but I'm really happy with where I'm at right now with my new job. But for right now, I'm not going to be on TV. I don't have any plans right now to be back in TV, at least in the foreseeable future. But the future is always evolving as a forecaster for atmospheric conditions. Forecasts can always be turbulent, so you never know. But right now, no. But thank you. Much appreciated. Darla says, hello, Ethan. Are we expecting any severe weather in the next week or on Mother's Day? It's a steady rain here in Aurora. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll still have my Facebook page. You can stay with me there. It's tagged on the Fox 19 Facebook page if you are watching on the Fox 19 Facebook page right now. Yeah, but I will say after May 13th, I cannot post any weather content or any kind of area news content for a year. That's just kind of how it goes. So don't be depending on me for that information, but I will share some life events or photography. That's going to be a hobby of mine I get into, and I'll share on there. Anyway, let's move right along here. So I got all caught up on the comments. But Darla, to answer your question, right now, no. I'm not seeing any severe weather in the forecast for the next week. The only opportunity where maybe a stronger storm will be possible, maybe Thursday. Maybe. And even then, that risk looks extremely limited. But Mother's Day actually looks fine. In fact, Mother's Day looks dry right now. Really encouraging first alert forecast we've got cooking for you here, and we'll dive into here in a moment. But first, I do want to explain the complexities of why this first alert forecast is, not everyone likes to hear this. On and off, scattered, some dry, some wet. People tend to think that, oh, you're just doing a half-butt job. Not the case. What makes this a little complex is what we got here is what we call an occluding low, or a low pressure system that is beginning to wrap around itself, so to speak. It's a little more complicated than that, but okay. All right, so what we got here is an area of low pressure. It's right here. So it spins like this. And this is moving. I don't know if you can see it really well. Yeah, it's not the best viewing. You know, I'm going to switch it over to the full screen, and then we'll just draw on there. I like to doodle. I won't be able to doodle much longer, so let's do that. So what we've got here is an area of low pressure right here. You can kind of see the turning motion. That is the kind of the direction of the winds that are wrapping around the low. That's in every low pressure system. And what we've got is kind of this stationary front. We call it stationary because it's not moving a whole lot. And what we've also got is a cold front to the south of that. And we've also got this little trough. And if I'm confusing you, I'm about ready to explain everything. So this is a warm front that's kind of stuck. It's not going in much any further. That's why, if you were looking at the temperatures this morning, it's a little warmer in Adams, Lewis, Mason counties, and a little cooler to the north and west towards Fayette, Union, Franklin counties. That warm front trying to push up, and it can't. It's stuck. That's why it's stationary, it's stuck. We got this low pressure system here that was associated or is associated with this front. To the south of that is this cold front right along the Mississippi River. And you got this little trough. It's just a little dip in energy and pressure. And it's kind of moving with this low. This low is going to kind of follow this front. And as it does that, this cold front here is going to wrap around and catch up to this stationary front really quick. And that's going to begin what we call an occlusion, or there really is no defined warm sector or cold front. And what happens is the low pressure begins to weaken. In fact, the pressure begins to increase. Still an area of low pressure, but it is going to weaken. And if you're curious, the forecast will go from the low here to the low here by tonight, and it will have, I don't think we have, aha. Okay, just a second. What'll happen is we'll have the occluding front. It looks like that, it's purple, because it's a blend of the cold and warm front. So this will be the progression between today and tonight. And that low pressure system, it sits over top of us, and those kind of low pressure systems are kind of feast or famine. They're going to dump a good amount of rainfall as they move in, but once they're over top of us, you get some dry slot of air move in, and you get light rain associated with it. But I will say Sunday and Monday does not look like a heavy rain kind of event. And let's just dive into the models, because you're going to see this unfold on this model data once it loads. So here we go. I'll move this mouse over here. So what we've got here is widespread rain, doing a pretty good job detecting all of that. We go into this early afternoon. Do note the heaviest of rain is east of I-71. We've been saying that for the last several hours, in fact, the last couple of days even, talking about that here on Fox 19. And we go into the early afternoon, still got these waves of rain. Now we go into the early afternoon areas west of I-71, you got some drier opportunities. East of I-71, not so much, still looking pretty wet. We go into 3, 4 o'clock, on and off rain. Some areas, light to moderate rain, other locations drying out. But do know, the temperatures are not changing much. Today is one of those days where, because that stationary front, it's stalled out, there really is no forcing of warm or colder air. It's just kind of stagnant. And that's kind of why we're not seeing a big change in temperatures today. So we go forward in time here, 6 o'clock, still looking at temperatures in the 50s. And this is an updated model that just came in. 6 o'clock, folks be getting ready for the Reds. We're going to be updating the Reds with the first alert forecast. I told them that there's going to be an opportunity for a downpour just before or during the game, but it does look drier. And you're going to see this drier air here work into the Cincinnati Metro between 7 and 8 o'clock, and there it is. However, we go into this evening near sunset, more dry than wet, sure. But off to the west, we do have some more redevelopment, which will move in overnight tonight into Sunday morning. And this model does unfortunately stop here pretty soon, and you won't be able to see any much further than that. So rain will eventually return into Sunday morning. So for the Flying Pig Marathon, I do believe there will be some showers in the area. But again, with the way this low pressure system is moving in, there could be some dry spots in between those showers. So I will say don't be fooled. If you're going to be going out, you're supporting a friend or family member who's going to be in the marathon, keep the rain gear with you. You might have an opportunity where it'll dry out for a little bit. It'll be nice for the moment, but there'll be another round of rain that moves in, could be an hour, 2 hours following that. That's just kind of how this goes. And if you've lived around here long enough, these occluding lows, as a forecaster, meteorologist, I know these patterns all too well. This low pressure system, any kind of occluding low like this, they're tricky because sometimes you get caught in the dry slot. It'll be dry for a few hours. But then when it rains, it kind of gets stuck and it'll stay wet for a while. And that's just kind of how they go. And speaking of which, for the Reds forecast, It shows rain the whole time, but I do think the first pitch might have some lingering showers. During the game, it does look a bit drier with cloudy skies, with temperatures in those low to mid 50s. It's also Star Wars bobblehead night. Big Star Wars fan. So, although I can't make it to the game, hopefully the ground crew could save me a bobblehead. We'll see. But anyway, we'll look at the regional model right now. And you're going to see it a little bit better. The spinning, the low pressure, move overhead between tonight and to tomorrow. So let's play this out. I went a little too fast there. Back up. So here's this afternoon. There are those scattered showers. And right here. So 7 o'clock, models like this, they tend to overdo things. And that heavier rain, again, I said east of I-71. This is trying to show that, but it's just kind of messy. But you're going to see this spinning here. That's the low. That's going to move over top of us. And once it does that, the heaviest of rain with this will be east of our viewing area. So Sunday and Monday, not looking at heavy downpours or flood risks. Today, we kind of have that flood risk for our eastern locations, though it is marginal or very conditional, isolated. So there's that spin. You can kind of see it right there. And there's that dry slot for Sunday morning right here that I was telling you about. So it's very possible that for part of at least the marathon, it will be drying out. However, with that dry slot here, there's also this back-end rain, and it's going to spin around and return rain Sunday at some point in the morning. And then we go into Sunday afternoon, scattered showers on and off through the day. Monday, it looks even drier in comparison to today and tomorrow. But even then, still got some scattered showers. That's just how these occluding lows work. Then we go to Tuesday. Still a chance of rain. But do note, the colors are getting lighter and lighter. That's an indication of lighter rain and less coverage of rain. But we still have the chances of rain nonetheless on Tuesday. But then by Wednesday, we finally get drier conditions. A lot of cloud cover, but still dry. But then we go to Wednesday evening. See a couple little green dots getting closer here, but going into Thursday, we got another system moving in. So Thursday, another opportunity of rain. And this is the one I was saying that, hey, maybe a strong storm, question mark. I'm not really bullish on this. I don't think we're going to see a severe threat. I really don't. But the only reason why I say there's even a chance, a tiny little chance, a small chance would be because of the warm conditions. You get a lot of warm temperatures in the upper 60s on Thursday. You get a good lift. And this would be one of those situations where it'd just be lightning, maybe some small hail, heavy rain. That's about it for Thursday. Then we go to the weekend, Mother's Day weekend. Friday looks dry. Saturday looks dry. And how about this? Mother's Day also looks dry. Great to see that. Really excited for that. And one last thing, let me go back to today and tomorrow. More on the onset of tomorrow, tonight into tomorrow. I'll say tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow. Tomorrow, if you look up at the skies, don't be surprised if you see a funnel cloud. This will be a scenario what we call cold air funnels. And cold air funnels are notorious in occluding lows. That being said, they don't really do anything. They're very weak. They look ominous. They look a little scary even, but don't be alarmed. Almost, I would say, a vast majority of the time, they're just funnels. They don't make it to the surface. But if one does reach the surface, they're pretty weak. They kind of act like a dust devil. But even then, if you see a cold air funnel, let us know. We'll watch it. We'll be monitoring it. It's good to have that ground truth too. So you can send any photos or videos to fox19.com/picture. You can email us too if you see anything and you can't take a photo. That's understandable. But I just wanted to point that out because that will be in play tomorrow. But today, it looks like it's just going to be periods of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder, nothing severe, fortunately. So we'll dive into the 7-day forecast here in a moment. But before we do that, take a look at those questions and comments. All right. Alicia, if I mispronounced your name, I apologize. Says you'll be missed. Enjoy your next journey. Thank you. I appreciate that. Cindy also says good luck. Thank you. Again, this was a really tough decision. We'll talk a little more on next weekend. I want to focus on the forecast first for this weekend. So here's what we got for the 7-day forecast. Today's high right around 60 degrees. Tomorrow 59. Monday 58. And maybe you were watching meteorologist Brad Mousehart yesterday, or meteorologist Aaron Ashley yesterday, or Catherine, even if you're doing the morning show. They had warmer conditions. I knocked down the temperatures because these occluding lows, these areas of low pressure that get stuck over us, tend to limit temperatures from really getting too warm or too cold. They kind of get stuck. So that's why there's only these differences about 10 degrees between the morning lows and highs, afternoon highs. So that's just something I wanted to point out. So Sunday, scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. Monday, scattered showers, 58 degrees. Tuesday, isolated showers and getting warmer at 67 degrees. Wednesday, looks dry for the bulk of the day. A slight evening chance and a high of 72. Thursday, isolated chance of rain, high of 71. And then Friday looks nice under partly cloudy skies with a high of 69 degrees. That is the 7-day forecast. Now, let's go beyond the 7-day forecast and look at this. Now, forgive me, I didn't put the Mother's Day logo on there, but Sunday is Mother's Day. 75 and partly cloudy. And right now, it looks pretty dry. Can't rule out maybe a day or two as a pop-up chance. That tends to happen when you get warm air moving in like this and more humidity as well. But I will say the majority of Mother's Day weekend looks pleasant. Humidity is in check. It's dry. It's warm. Looking pretty nice. But the middle and latter half of the following week, May 14th, 15th, 16th, I would say may have some humidity working in. And that's where that pop-up chance could come into play. But right now, it does look more dry than wet at this point. So we've got that going for us. So yeah, looks pretty good at this point. And we will switch this back to the 7-day real quick. So there you go. That's what we're working with here over the next 7 days. Kind of unsettled, but it does look like the following week, Mother's Day weekend and the week after, looks a lot quieter and warmer. So encouraging. All right, it's been 30 minutes since I've been on here on the 10:15 weather show. I think it's my responsibility, my duty to stay on here as long as you want that forecast. Plus, I talk a lot. Plus, I like to explain stuff. Sue me. But take a look at those questions and comments for final words, and then we'll hop off of here. Hey, Clarine, my meemaw, chiming in. Going to miss you. Congratulations on your new job. Hey, I'll be able to see you more often now. So that'll be nice. Don't see any more questions or comments about the First Alert forecast, so we'll go ahead and hop off of here. So, again, thank you all for joining us here on this streaming show. You got me tomorrow. You got me next Saturday morning. You got me next Sunday morning. That's it. Let's make the most of the rest of my time here on 19. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. Meteorologist Erin Ashley, she is great. She's awesome. I am a huge supporter of Erin. She's a hard worker. She came from the same program I was at Ohio University, although she's the first class, part of the first class, that actually has a broadcast meteorologist degree, which is really cool. When I was there, it was just a meteorology degree, and I had to volunteer my time at WOUB, which was a lot of work between dynamics, thermodynamics, synoptic, mesoscale classes. A lot of hard work, but I know Erin went through that hard work too, and she's a brilliant meteorologist. She's awesome. I'm so happy she's here. We're lucky to have her, and I'm so happy she took my position on the weekend evenings. So go support her tonight on 19 at 6 if you're able to. If not, she's got you covered tonight, I believe at 10. Could be a sports game that might push that later. But either way, she's got you covered here on 19 as well. So that'll do it for us for our 19 at 10:15 weather show. I appreciate all of you. We'll see you tomorrow morning beginning at 7 a.m. right here on Fox 19 Now.